Hi, I'm Lynette, and welcome to another episode of I'm Not Buying It, because I'm not. Wait. So if you're new here, welcome. This is I'm Not Buying It, and this is where I sit and I go over with you all the new makeup releases that I'm not going to buy. And why do I do this? Really to convince myself not to buy any more makeup or to buy a lot less makeup, especially eyeshadow palettes, because they are my main weakness. And I believe this week's episode it might be all eyeshadow palettes. I am going to go through Instagram. Makeup Release Radar is my main account that I go to when I'm looking for the new releases. All the photos that I use of the products, I will list the accounts from which I got them. And let's get started with, let's start with Juvia's Place. Juvia's Place has released a new collection. And what is it called? The Culture Collection. And they have a palette. The Culture palette. Now it comes with liquid eyeshadows, and are there some lip oils? I don't know. We're just gonna talk about the palette, okay? Because that's all I'm really interested in. It's the Culture palette. It's $39, and you're getting a shit ton of shadows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're getting 30 shadows for $39. You're getting mattes, shimmers, and I believe there are 2 pressed glitters in here. And I like the packaging, and I'm talking about the palette. I like the packaging. I like the, the artwork. They always do beautiful African-inspired artwork. So I like the color blocking. I like the mask. I like the whole thing. Now inside, I don't like the colors inside the packaging. I feel like that white background takes away from the shadows. I think if they had used a solid background that was not white, dark background, I think that would have made this palette a lot more appealing, visually appealing to me anyway. But with that said, I mean, it's pretty. I like that purple row on the end. I like the blue row. I like that green row. I'm gonna always like a green row. But that orange row, I could do without. The pink row is pretty, but and then that, like, what is that, coral row with the neutral, so it's pretty, but it's really, this palette is an easy pass for me. It's really not calling to me. I'm sure the quality is going to be really pretty. I'm sure those metallics are going to be beautiful, but yeah, I'm just not interested. I'm not buying it. And then from Tatcha, we're going to move away from eyeshadow palettes for a minute. Tatcha has come out with, have they come out with it already? I think it's come out already. No, I don't think it's come out. They have a sunscreen. Their Silk Mineral Broad Spectrum Sunscreen in SPF 50. It has hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, zinc oxide, 10%, red algae extracts, and silk extracts. And it looks really liquidy. And I'm sure it's gonna be nice. Now, I'm mineral sunscreen. It looks like it's tinted, but probably on my melanated skin, probably gonna leave a white cast. I'm not sure, but and I'm sure it's gonna be expensive because it's Tatcha. But yeah, this is an easy pass for me, even though it's got all that nice skincare stuff in it. I already use niacinamide. Do I use niacinamide? I was using niacinamide. Now I'm using salicylic acid from The Ordinary. And I use the Black Girl Sunscreen SPF. One of them is SPF 30, one of them is SPF 40. I use 2 different ones. And I'm liking that just fine. It's very moisturizing, and yeah, so I'm not buying Tatcha's. I'm not buying Tatcha's sunscreen. No, thank you. La Mer has a new product coming out. It is their lip polish. It's available now. And it gently refines. It retexturizes the lips. It's a buffing balm. It's a smoother. and it makes your lips softer for healthier looking lips. And I guess, does it come with that little spatula for you to rub your lips with, or take it out of the pan with? I don't know. Out of the jar with? I don't know. But it's $75. And no ma'am. No ma'am. As maybe you don't know, I don't use any lip scrubs or any of that stuff. I use some good old Vaseline Intensive Care Petroleum Jelly, which apparently is making a comeback now on TikTok. The kids now have discovered Vaseline, which, you know, our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers have been using. But yeah, that's what I use before bed every night, and I don't have any of those dry, flaky, chapping issues. So I don't need this $75 lip balm. Thanks, La Mer, but no thank you. I'm not buying it. And now, let's get to some eyeshadow palettes. So let's get back to eyeshadow palettes. Lethal Cosmetics has, I believe this has been released already, and it's the Night Flower palette. Yes, it's out. And yeah, so it's the Night Flower palette. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 12-pan eyeshadow palette. And Lethal often have eyeshadow bundles where you can make your own palette, but this is actually a pre-made palette. And it's really pretty. It's really pretty. I have a Lethal Cosmetics palette that I put together of their singles, and it was very expensive. They're not cheap. They're not cheap. How much is this palette going for? Does it say? The palette is going for $50 US, and then you can buy them as singles for $6 for the mattes and $9 for the multi-chromes. The mattes and the classic metallics are $6 each, and then the multi-chromes are $9, which, if they're real multi-chromes, $9 is great. That's a great price, because most multi-chromes, they're ranging from like $16, $17 and up. So if they're $9, if this is correct, that's gonna be great. I don't know if I believe that, but that's great. But yeah, it's a beautiful palette. It's really a beautiful palette. That turquoise, it looks like a dual chrome turquoise purple shade, is beautiful. And yeah, it looks like they've got a couple of dual chromes. Maybe they're multi-chromes. I'm not sure from the swatches. But really, really pretty. And yeah, I think the color story is gorgeous. But I already have my pre-made palette. Not my pre-made. The palette that I custom made for myself from Lethal that I don't use. So yeah, I'm not gonna buy this. I'm not. Between my Adept Cosmetics palettes and my Divinas and all of those multi-chrome singles, I'm good. But this is gorgeous. Let me know in the comments if you're planning on picking this palette up, because it's really, really beautiful. All right, on to Nabla. And Nabla has a new palette that is already out, and it is the Read My Mind eyeshadow palette. 16 shades of mattes and shimmers. And it looks like, okay, the cover packaging, the cover art, I think is pretty. A lot of like color blocking, looks like. That's cute. But when you open the palette, it looks like it's broken up into 4 different quads. And I feel like we have seen this so many times before, even just this month alone, between Colored Rain and did Juvia's Place come out with quads, like in 6-pan eyeshadow palettes? Like, yeah, this is just, especially those first 2 rows of mauves, they don't look that different. Like, did we need all of those colors? They're pretty similar, looks like. Yeah, this bores me to tears. I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anyone, but this is boring. This has been done, and this is an easy I'm not gonna buy. Not buying that. Now, one eyeshadow palette that is, I think, a little more difficult in terms of not going to buy is from Sugar Drizzle, and it's their Dragonfly Warrior palette. And this one is releasing on the 26th as well, so it may already be out by the time this video goes up. It's a 9 palette 9-pan palette with mattes and shimmers. And 2 of those shimmers, maybe 3, look to be duochrome. And this is really pretty. And now when I initially saw this palette, I was not interested. Because I'm like, they're blues, they're greens. I have that little orange. I kind of got that already. I have that in other palettes already, for sure. Then I saw the swatches. And then I have since used the only Sugar Drizzle palette that I have, and it's the Pickle palette. And the metallics in that palette are so beautiful. I actually talk about that palette. That video should have gone up. The stuff that I'm liking right now video, I will post it here if it's up. It should have already gone up. Yeah, the metallics in that palette are so beautiful. And that formula is so nice that makes me want to buy this palette. I want to buy this palette. I don't know how much it is. Have they come out with a price yet? I don't know if they've come out with the price yet, but it's really pretty. It's probably going to sell out, and probably very quickly. But yeah, if I'm able to get my hands on it, I'm gonna pick it up. You could actually use the code RADAR10 at checkout if you want probably like 10% off. If you want some money off, yeah, it's probably 10%. You can use RADAR10 to get 10% off that palette. But yeah, I might have to be there on launch day to see if I could pick that one up. Now on to another eyeshadow palette. This one is from Hindash, and this is the Monochromance palette, which I think the title is super cute. So Hindash did come out with another palette. He's a professional makeup artist. He does have a YouTube channel as well. He does gorgeous, beautiful makeup. If you haven't checked him out, please do go to his YouTube channel. Just gorgeous. He seems like a very lovely person as well, and he's the cutest dog to me. Too. So he came out with the Beautopsy palette maybe a year ago now, and that one was definitely a more like primary color based neutral palette, and this one is now more colorful, soft colors, very pretty, and yeah, very nice. But this for me, I'm not gonna buy this. I'm not gonna buy this because I feel like, I don't know if I talked about, I didn't. I feel like he is a professional makeup artist, and so his last palette I think is really geared towards professional makeup artists, and I think he wants us to buy it as well. Us amateurs, our everyday, you know, average makeup users, I think he wants us to buy it as well. I think he wants us to buy it and love it too, but I just feel like this just really leans more towards the professionals because it's very versatile, right? You can, it's like this gradient. Every pan is a gradient, so you can go from a lighter to darker, or from dark to light in the same color hue, and you can mix your colors. But as an average makeup consumer, as an amateur makeup enthusiast, I'm not trying to do all that. I'm not trying to do all that. I don't know if I have the skill to be mixing and all that. Like, I don't feel comfortable doing that, and I feel like this palette would be lost on me because there's so many things you can do with it in terms of eyeshadow looks that it would be like me buying a superpowered computer or a superpowered phone and using 2 of the 6,000 features that come with it. You know, and so, and this palette, just like his first palette, I'm sure you can use it for your face as well. So you can use it for blush, and you know, you don't have to use it simply for eyeshadow, which makes it even more versatile. But yeah, I feel like this is just a little bit above me, and I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna buy that. And on to ColourPop. So ColourPop has collaborated once again with Star Wars. And their first two collaborations I have in my collection, they're perfection in my opinion. So they first came out with the Child palette. It was more like a green monochromatic palette, and then they came out with the Mandalorian last year, which is a cool tone, beautiful neutral palette. I feel like with both of those palettes, they got the cover, the packaging right, the cover art right, the color story right, right, totally in line with the Child and with the Mandalorian. Just, they got it all right. And so now they are doing a palette now based on Darth Vader, who to me is the original OG villain, okay? And it's called the I Have You Now eyeshadow palette. And let's talk. Can we talk? Let's talk about it. So the cover art I like, right? Because Darth Vader's on it. It's Darth Vader, okay? The baddest ass villain in the galaxy, okay? So he's on there and he's looking menacing and like Vader does. And so that's good. They've got the packaging and the cover art. Great. They got that right. But now we get into the palette and the color story. So they have Darth. You can't see it. You can't really see it, but they've got Darth inside. I've got you now. Like, great. They've got some TIE fighters in there. They've got the names, Battle Station, Imperial Forces, I Am the Master, like Death Star, like, right. They got the names right, like, wonderful. But now let's talk about the color story. And the obvious thing, right? The same thing everyone has said who has seen this palette is, why is there no black eyeshadow in this palette? Why is there not a black? I don't understand. It's Darth Vader. Darth Vader. One of the first things you think of when someone says Darth Vader is, he's clad in all black. All black. From head to toe. The black cape, the helmet, black. From head to toe. Why is there not one black shadow in this palette? I don't understand. I don't get it. Were they trying not to be obvious? Were they trying not to do the obvious? But we expect the obvious, and the obvious would have been to have a black matte shadow in this palette. Hell, you could have made it a shimmer. You could have made it a metallic, fine, as long as it was black. So there's no black. Instead, they have a brown. They have what looks like a dark brown. Why? I mean, I guess you're trying to, you know, appeal to the people that want to do an everyday neutral look. But come on now, you got to stay true to your muse here, okay? And the muse is Darth Vader. So if you're going to be true to him, take that brown out and put in a black, okay? They have, on the cover art, they have some blue. You could have done a blue. You could have done a concrete blue, like a gray blue. You could have done that and put that in here and taken out that brown, put in the black, and you could have had a white. We could have done a white. It could have been a white matte because the TIE fighters are black and white, right? So you could have put a white in there. I wouldn't have been that mad at that. You could have put a white matte shadow in there. That would have been okay. I mean, you have the red for the lightsaber. Okay, that's fine. And then you have what's like a platinum bronze. That's cool too. That's cool too. So take out that dark brown, and you know, you could really kind of take out that purple too, if I'm being honest. Or take out one of those light shades and put in a concrete blue. And that would have been good. Yeah, take out that purple. That would have been good. I would have been okay with that. I would have bought that. That I would have bought. This I'm not going to buy. I'm not buying it. No. And it hurts me because I would love to have my little Star Wars collection and have him join the Mandalorian and Grogu, but no, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. On to another palette now. Palettes. Now these palettes, I'm not gonna buy either, but I want to. This is from a Beauty Bay. These are some new palettes that they have coming soon. One is the Berries palette, one is the Midnight palette, and then one is the Earthy palette. And you already know which two palettes I want, right? So, okay, so I like, if you're new here, hi, I like the Beauty Bay palettes. I like the big palettes. I like the 16 pan palettes. I like, do I have the 12 pan? Do they have 12 pan or 9 pan? 16. I've got the 16 pan. We've got these size. These are 16. These are 16? Yeah. So we got the 16 pan. They have smaller pans. I don't know if they're 9 pan, 12 pans, whatever. I've got those. I've got these. I have the big pan, the 42 shade one. Like, I like the Beauty Bay eyeshadow palettes. I like the Beauty Bay formula. Okay, so let's start with the Berries palette. The Berries palette is the one that's the least appealing to me. So that one, you know, I mean, it's pretty. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty. she pretty. But I feel like if you got the palette that they just did for Valentine's Day, and then the one they did last year for Valentine's Day, I don't think this palette is necessary. I think you're gonna see a lot of dupes between those two palettes and this Berries palette. So this one here, I'm good. That metallic pink though is gorgeous, but that, okay, I can do without that. Now, the blue palette, the Midnight palette, with them blues and the purples, ooh, child. But again, I feel like if you have the Book of Magic palette, which I have, and if you have the Age of Opulence palette, which I also have, I feel like between these two palettes alone, you've got the blues and you've got the purples. So you really, I'm not gonna say you don't need it. I don't need it. I really don't need it. It's gorgeous, but I really don't need it, right? Because I have most of those shades already. And I'm sure with a palette that big and with it being as monochromatic as it is, I'm sure some of those shades are going to be repetitive. Like once you put them on your eye and start blending, you're not going to be able to see any difference between those two. Not really, okay? So 2 down and 1 to go. That last one being the earthy one. Lord, you know how I feel about greens. Ooh, child, you know how I feel about green eyeshadow. Oh, and if them greens are not talking to me right now, oh, baby. Gorgeous. And then you have those 2 rows, because the palette looks like it's upside down maybe. So those 2 neutral rows. Those are pretty. Those are pretty, but it's the greens. Now, if you're looking at the greens, I'm sure a lot of those greens are repetitive as well. Like once you put them on your eye and start blending, you're not going to see a difference amongst those greens. So I feel like a lot of those greens, they could edit this palette down. And then those neutrals, I'm sure I have a couple of those neutrals in the smaller neutral palettes that I have from them. The Fiery palette, the Fiery palette, and then I forget what it's called, but it's a cooler tone monochromatic smaller palette from Beauty Bay that I have. I'm sure I have some of those shades in those palettes. And then I have the Carnival 4, the Antidote palette. And look at the greens in that palette. Look at the greens and the neutrals in that palette. And then look at this palette. Like, well, I should probably put it over here, right? These greens, I'm sure some of those. And then the original the Carnival Extra Large and the Tahiti, like some of those in this palette too, some of those neutral shades there, those warmer shades here, I can probably dupe out over here. So for me, I have these shades, I know I do, and I don't need this palette. I don't need it. So as of right now, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm sure the price is probably going to be good too. And then at some point at the end of the year, they're going to be on sale. But right now, I'm not buying it. Right now, I'm not buying it. Let me know what you think. But I'm not buying it. I'm not going to buy it. And that is it for today. Short, hopefully short and sweet. Let me know in the comments, are there any of these new releases that you've seen today that you're interested in? Are there others that I did not mention that you're interested in? Let me know below. If you liked this video, then please give it a like and consider subscribing, because I'm here every Saturday with makeup related content. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.